Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who understand that there's more to entrepreneurship than finding the latest flash-in-the-pan strategies, who understand that in order to build your empire, you need a solid foundation. I wholeheartedly believe that entrepreneurship is the biggest self-development journey you can be on, and it's my mission to help you make that journey easier. In this show, I bring together the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist and mindset coach behind this show, and you're listening to the Wired for Success podcast. Hey everyone, I'm back from our family holiday, and you know what? I did the unthinkable. I completely unplugged for 2 weeks. No social media, no work, no thinking about work, just focusing on my family, exploring new things, enjoying nature, meeting old and new friends, eating good food, and so on. Sounds great, right? And it was. But I have to admit that it took me a couple of days to transition into that holiday mode. And maybe you can relate. If you've worked hard for an extended period of time and then you go on holiday, you might be familiar with the experience that your brain and your body, they just take some time to get the memo and shift gears. I think so often we don't really realize how much stress we are putting on ourselves until we take a break. And the more stressed we are, the harder it is for us to relax and let go. And that's why it's so important to take those regular breaks. And by break, I don't mean traveling to a beautiful destination and then spending all day in front of your laptop. That's not a break. That's a change of scenery, which can also be a great thing, but it's not the type of break that I'm talking about today. I'm talking about a real break, one where you actually put all work-related things aside, one where you unplug, spend your days experiencing the physical world you live in instead of being glued to your to a screen and living in the digital world. Most of us are so used to being online all the time that even the thought of unplugging just for a few days can be terrifying for a lot of people. But why is it so terrifying? And I think part of that is the harsh truth that many of us have become addicted to social media and or work without even realizing it. And yes, you can be addicted to those things. Addiction is not just about alcohol or hard drugs. You can basically be addicted to anything that manages to derail your dopamine system in a certain way. As you might know, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that is associated with pleasure, reward, and movement. It motivates you to take action and pursue a goal. It's also associated with craving, learning, and memory. And at healthy levels, it makes you feel alert, focused, and happy. And it's your brain's way to motivate you. Your dopamine levels will always vary depending on what you do. Say, for instance, that you do something pleasurable. Then your brain releases more dopamine, which kind of acts like a tag that tells you to repeat that experience. So when you see a new email in your inbox, or you finish a task at work, or you see someone commenting on your social media posts, all those things can trigger a higher dopamine release in your brain, which makes you feel good. The tricky thing is that after a dopamine spike, the brain compensates by downregulating your dopamine release, which creates a temporary dip or dopamine deficit. And that's the crash that you experience after the high. Okay, so obviously that crash does not feel good. So you want to avoid it. And you try to avoid it by doing more and more of the thing that initially made you feel good. Checking your email, working hard, posting on social media. But then your brain and dopamine levels adapt to your new behavior, and the initial stimulus does not give you the same high anymore. You need stronger and stronger stimuli to feel good. Sounds familiar? Yes, that's called addiction. It's just not often talked about in the context of work, for instance, because being addicted to work or social media is socially acceptable, while being addicted to alcohol or hard drugs is not. It doesn't mean that it's not dangerous or bad for your overall well-being, though. Just think about the countless workaholics who have ruined their health and relationships because they couldn't stop obsessing about their work. So as I said before, work addiction is socially accepted. But actually, when you think about it, it's not only accepted, but often encouraged and promoted by our modern work environment. From my own experience, I know that some workplaces are basically designed to promote work addiction. They support this constant hustle mentality, and they foster this environment of just relentless competition. Those who spend most time at the company or work the hardest, they are the ones who get recognized and rewarded. And this is not a healthy work environment. Maybe it's time you ask yourself, what's the work environment like in your own company? Do you promote work-life balance, or do you promote 24/7 hustle mentality? And if you promote work-life balance, do you lead by example? Do you tell everyone else to have a life, yet you basically live and breathe your work? Remember that actions always speak louder than words. Your employees will likely follow your example no matter what you say. So if you really care about them, you have to lead by example. And maybe you're telling yourself, well, you're certainly not addicted to work. You're just a hard worker. That's your personality. You don't need breaks because you love your work. Well, I guess that's what most addicts would say as well, right? They would say they are not addicted to work. They don't have a problem. They do whatever they do because they love how it makes them feel. Do you see the parallels there? So how can you find out whether or not you have become addicted to work or social media? Well, the test is simple. Try to go without them for a couple of weeks. How does that thought make you feel? Do you find it uncomfortable and agitating? How long can you actually go without checking social media or email or without doing your work? How much are you able to relax on your holidays? Do you manage to unplug completely, or do your thoughts keep going back to work-related problems? And you can't help but do some work while you're officially on vacation. Are you worried that you'll become irrelevant if you don't post on social media for a couple of weeks? Do you fear that your business won't survive 2 weeks without you? That you will miss something important? Well, I have to say, I came back to find out that someone had canceled an interview I was supposed to give on their podcast because I hadn't responded to their email in time. But apart from that, nothing bad happened. The world kept turning, and most people probably didn't even notice I was gone. So notice whatever fears come up for you, and then examine whether those fears are actually true. Is it true that your business can't survive a couple of weeks without you? And well, if it is, then maybe it's time to put some processes in place that allow you to take 2 weeks off without being a problem. And if it's not true that your business wouldn't survive without you, but you still feel a huge resistance around letting go and taking a break, then it might be time to figure out what's really going on that's holding you back there. What I realized during my own holidays is just how easy it is to get sucked into this constant work mode without realizing it. I mean, life happens, right? We can't always plan everything. And then one thing comes to the next, and then we have to react to the surprises and adapt. And sometimes we just keep plodding along, and we kind of miss the exit that allows us to get back to a more relaxed state of being. And that's why it's so important to take those regular breaks. They help us realize if we've been stuck in this constant work mode for too long, and they give us the time and the headspace to reassess how we'd like to handle our day-to-day life. What do we need more of? What do we need less of? So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you regularly take time off? And if so, are you able to unplug completely? Or what are the fears that are coming up for you and that are holding you back? So talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show. It would mean the world to me because you'd help me reach more entrepreneurs like yourself who would love this show. If you'd like to learn more about creating a widely successful business without sacrificing your health, relationships, or sanity, make sure to stick around and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And why don't you help me spread the word and share this show with your friends? I'd really appreciate it, and I'm sure your friends will too. Want to continue this conversation, build real relationships, and join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs? Come join my free Facebook community for visionary entrepreneurs. I would love to see you there. In the meantime, if you haven't done so already, grab my free brain priming audio file for entrepreneurs and start priming your brain for success in less than 5 minutes each morning. Curious? You can learn more about how this works and download the audio file at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions. Until next time, bye!